सबसे पहले हम अपने ज्यूरी मेंबर्स का अभिवादन करना चाहेंगे मिस्टर रॉबर्ट कार।
Well, here I am. Wasn't sure if I was going to make it tonight. I'm getting up there in years. I'll be 93 at the end of January, and sometimes I wonder why am I here in India, and why did I come, and my background has been multimedia mostly, film, audio, and any other form of communication. I lived in San Francisco during the hippie days, and I decided at that time that I would go to India, and I want to meet a particular philosopher that comes here but doesn't live here. He stays for a few months and then he goes to Europe, someplace else. So anyway, a friend of mine, we got some money and flew to Europe and stayed in Europe for a while, and then took a plane to Bombay. And I had some idea of India because one of my friends was working at Boeing, but he was from India. And his brother also was staying in Seattle where I was staying. So I knew something, a little bit about India, but not a lot. So anyway, to try to make this short so you understand, I met a man named Krishnamurti, and he was well known throughout the world as a teacher. And I was very interested in what he had to say, and he more or less straightened things out about what I should do about it, and which I did. So a few years later, I decided to come back to India. And so a friend of mine, he wanted to go also. So we took a plane to Bombay and went to a meeting place, and there was a fellow named Mahesh Bhatt, who was a filmmaker, and I knew a little bit about Mahesh, but not a great deal, but we became very good friends, and to this day we see each other, spend time together, because Mahesh too was very interested in Krishnamurti. But to make a story shorter, the older Krishnamurti sort of retired, and the younger one, he began giving impromptu talks at his home or wherever, and so that's why I spent time with, listening to him, and I thought, nobody is recording what he's saying, and I had a video camera because I have been playing around with video in California. So I asked him, "Can I record you?" And he said, "Do what you like, you know." So I recorded Eugene. Then later, when I came back to America, I had a collection of about 20 or 25 videos. So I went through them and edited them and decided to make them available to anybody who wants. And today, they're still available. Now the second Krishnamurti is also, he's gone, he died. And so it's just a few people in Bangalore, where he used to stay, know him, Mahesh Bhatt, and I might add, when I first met Mahesh, I met him in Bangalore, and he was with Yuji, and Parveen Bobby, the movie star, was also with Mahesh, and they were having an affair at the time. So later on, some 3 or 4 years, Parveen came to California, and she stayed at my house, and we became very good friends. And so I began to understand more of Indian culture and more of what one could do here. And in spite of the tremendous difficulties we have in getting things done, I saw Mahesh the other day, and he thought that film might be coming to an end. That movie theaters might be a thing of the past. So we'll have to see what, I don't think film will come to an end. I don't think that any of the audiovisual arts will cease to be. Although people will start going to the internet, that'll take over the theaters, and that'll be the new theater. So you have to think about that you're making your films for the internet technique. And I really believe that will happen. I can see it now with this virus going around. It's destroying people's chances of going out, going to theaters. I don't see it happening right away. But I don't think the audio visual arts is going to die. It's going to grow and utilize the new techniques and the new ideas as a means of communication. Because, we've got to have communication. It's what will bring us together, bring us to a new understanding of things. When I lived in San Francisco, I made a film, just a short film, it was about 40 minutes, and that was my first film, and I never had any experience making films, but I knew the techniques. But so we made the film in about 4 or 5 days, and a friend of mine at a local theater took the film, and he used to play it on Sundays. And so that was my interest there in film. But I have to say that at one point in my life, I got interested in television because it was instant, and I went to see a television station, and at the time they were looking for a man to take care of their production. And I said, well, I can do it. Not having taken care of production before, but it was easy. So I stayed on there and later started making television products. So I saw that there wasn't much difference between movie making and television. So I stayed on for about almost a year, and then finally decided to give it up. And at that time, I wrote to Warner Brothers in California and said that I was available. And believe it or not, they sent for me, and I had an interview with their head people, and they said, okay, can you work for us? I said, sure. So I stayed though in San Francisco, and I traveled all the time. I would go to New York or here or there, and begin to utilize what I knew to the television world through Warner Brothers. So I've had a lot of experience in, not so much in filmmaking, but in television and in, but that isn't so much different. It isn't so different, really. It isn't. Just the technique is a little different. So anyway, I want to wish you all the very best and hope that you will find your path and your way of coming to utilize the media arts. So they use whether it's film still or it's now become video, which again I have to say I think is going to take over. So you learn about video. Video cameras are cheap. You could buy one and start playing with it and working with it. And it's not too much different than film, but it's instant. You don't have to develop it or edit it. Particularly, the editing is self realized. So, okay. Do you have any questions at all you'd like to ask? Oh, one last statement. The reason I came to Bombay was to meet these philosophers, but I met so many other people and film people, and that began to really help me understand. And when it was time for me to go back to America, I said, no, I want to stay in India. So I'm staying here. I think it's a great experience, a great country, and you have a potential, a tremendous potential here. Okay.